We're back. So, Heather, I'd ask you how your week was, but we literally spent every waking moment together. So I want to ask you, instead of how was your week, what was your most favorite thing at Disney and your least favorite thing? For people just tuning in, Heather had an all-expense paid vacation.
I can't help it that I'm good at navigating airports and parking.
I literally hate planning and executing plans, but Heather thrives off of it. So I thought if I paid her to go to Disney with me, she would treat me like her other child and hold my hand through the airport.
Did we make it? Did you survive? And was the airport navigated?
We almost missed one flight.
Yeah, our plane. Okay, just a little recap. We get on the plane, JetBlue, and we're taxiing down the runway for takeoff, and suddenly we pull off to the right, like onto the airport shoulder, which when anything pulls onto the shoulder, it's not a good sign. Then Mr. Pilot comes over the loudspeaker and says, "Hello, hey guys, one of the computers didn't turn on this morning, so we're just going to try to see if we can reset it before we take off."
That was not words of comfort in that moment.
And we had a layover, and literally, I don't know why we were behind people that embodied molasses, but they were not moving off the plane.
And Heather stressed me out. Corey, if we don't get off this plane, we are going to miss this. So I'm
literally standing in line, which, I get it. You're supposed to wait for the people in front of you to slowly pour out. But these people are like doing big stretches. Like, not the time and place, guys.
We had no bags again. Like, my fanny pack was all I brought, so I was ready to run down the aisle.
But the people are like, "You will not pass me. Thou shalt not pass."
I literally, a lady sat on my leg because she said, "You will not pass me."
Like, my heart reached like super cortisol. I'm pulling up the JetBlue app, seeing when the next plane is going to depart because we're about to miss this one. And it's like, sure, you can fly out at 2 for $600 if you'd like. And it's just like,
but we ran. We got it.
We got it. We got my butt in that seat and we flew back.
So, Heather, what was your best part of Disney and your worst part of Disney?
So I will say I loved Disney, but I was not prepared for Disney in 105-degree weather. So that was the best part.
Like,
I'm just kidding.
You don't like just to endlessly sweat?
I don't. What happens when your body runs out of sweat? Like, what does it do after that? You just die?
I think you just start crying.
There'd be no water. It'd be dry tears. So that was crazy. But I really, truly did. The food experience, I know I made some reservations that we just could not afford.
I have reservations about your reservations.
I would not trust me to make the whole park is now in an app-based reservation system. But here's the thing. We always talk about like being scared to charge rush fees. No, they're fining you if you miss your appointment.
My goodness.
It
was up to $20 per person if you didn't show up.
So at one point we were like, this restaurant is so expensive, it'd be cheaper to pay the fine than go to it. But all in all, I thought the food was spectacular.
The food was amazing.
The heat was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot of bodies.
It was a lot of bodies and a lot of waiting. Okay, so Corey, I know that we've been separated for 2 days now. I know you've struggled, but what have you done in the past 2 days since Disney has ended and we've come back to reality?
So I thought I could start baking some Father's Day sets, but when I arrived to my tiny little home, I walked in and it's like I cleaned before we left, and I didn't clean because I love my husband. I cleaned to see exactly how dirty of a person he was on his own.
I like it. I like that. Really a test this was. Disney was a test for the husband's cleanliness.
Test of love. It was like if you stood back from afar, it didn't look that bad, but like there was a layer of crumb.
I think it's important for everyone to know that Nate is 6 foot what?
6'5".
So it's hard for him to see the crumb.
Okay,
He's
but
so
like
high.
if you touch it, it was like touching like little crumblies. Absolutely every single place you put your hand or feet. There was crumbs everywhere.
No, I heard you had a freeloader while you were gone.
Okay, when I FaceTimed Nate while we were gone, and in the back of one FaceTime, and I didn't say anything because this was a scientific experiment, there was a ginormo leaf from the outside tree right in front of, and I get wind blows. So a leaf could absolutely blow in, but it was there upon my arrival home.
Did you charge it rent? Was it Airbnb for the week?
I even had to say, how much did we make? And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, there's no way that you didn't charge that thing some rent for taking up space at the best front of the house.
I wish I could be Nate and truly not see problems.
It's almost like he just has the ability to ignore things that I cannot ignore. Mm-hmm. I wish I was more like him, but we live in a house of filth. I do really. So
you cleaned it.
I spent the last 2 days cleaning.
And I saw you organized your cookie room.
I did, which you really need to do. And I'm super excited. My new air purifier is on its way.
Oh, wow. A little extra easy.
I just want to have that room just pulling out so much electricity.
Corey has a dehumidifier and a dehydrator.
Heather does not understand the difference between the both.
She's got 2 dehy's in the room.
There's no moisture.
Now there'll be an air purifier in the room.
But Heather, give us a breakdown of what this podcast is about.
So we are 2 representatives from a Facebook group called Sugar Cookie Marketing, group, right? And what we do there is we talk about ways to increase your bottom line for your bakery. So we do have, a lot of people are sugar cookies, but then we have cakes and we have cheesecakes and we have Keto Chef Mike, whatever he sells, I'm not sure. Things like that.
Healthy stuff.
Right. So the basic concept of the whole group is to really understand the psychology of pricing, making more money, pricing strategies to increase your bottom line,
customer relations, customer retention,
right, boundaries. Things like that. So in this podcast, we kind of cover the business of baking and marketing minutes, but this time we're going to go through the psychology of Disney.
Because it is fascinating.
Right. After that, we'll go through voicemails, which are all text this week.
Yes.
And then we'll do group stuff, some Facebook Lives that are coming up, some events that are coming up, and then we'll talk about our Twinterests, things that Corey and I find interesting that we forced you to listen to. And then after that, our sponsors. Sorry.
But we created this podcast because we know you can't always spend a ton of time scrolling through Facebook in the group. So why not 2 birds, 1 stone? While your hands are filled with flour, you can actually grow your business by listening to us, and you won't miss a beat.
Really, Corey just wanted to be on Spotify, and this was the ploy to do it. So you guys are the unfortunate test bed for Corey being listed on Spotify.
I just want to be popular.
So, okay, we spent an exorbitant of time and money at Disney, and I had to ask, so the point of this, and I know that we talk about pricing psychology, but you need to understand how it affects you too.
I just want to say I'm 100%. It works on me every single time.
Right. So there's one thing about doing it to other people, but you have to also see that it's being done to you constantly. We live in a world of sales. And the more that we understand that, the more that we can be self-aware and make the right decisions when it comes to our buying processes.
Right. Versus buying on emotion, which 100% of those slushy and Diet Cokes were because I was hot and bothered.
So in 2019, so the year before COVID, Disney Parks, the division of Disney, reported earnings of $7 billion in 1 year. I know I paid half of that in the past week, but that is an exorbitant amount of money.
It's a lot of money.
And Disney Parks has a return rate of first-time customers of 70%. That means I went one time, 70% of people will go back again.
I mean, what?
They must not have stood in the same line I stood in.
I think fast passes were available back yonder that were not available this trip.
So there was no fast pass available. So Corey and I truly got the experience of Disney as it is. So I Googled it. I've also been watching a great documentary on Disney on Disney Plus.
Okay.
And it's called, I think it's called Imagineers. Really, it's about 7 hours long, but it's very thorough in what the park does and how it does it.
Okay. I mean, I'm all about it. I know people are like, you guys talked marketing on your vacation, but me and Heather absolutely love marketing. So
we also ran out of things to talk about. So,
but it was so fun to go to dinner and talk about what just worked on us.
Just why are we spending this money right now? Why would we spend so much money? Why would we spend on Archer's meal in the Belle?
It wasn't even Belle. Belle wasn't even there. It was just the bees.
Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, so the thing that stood out to me, and I definitely read an article, it's not my own brain coming up with this, but the black pavement. So black pavement
is hot.
It
hotter than
reflects
hot.
Heat back up at you.
Yes.
And I thought it was a weird design. But the point is, when you walk into Magic Kingdom or any other part of the park where black pavement is, it's to force you either to move forward or go inside a store.
But can I just say, when we walked into Magic Kingdom, it was almost like the sea of people parted. And it was like that Magic Kingdom was staring at me and said, "Princess, come on. This is for you, baby girl.
Right. So, but it was exorbitantly hot. However, while you're walking down Main Street in Magic Kingdom, the air conditioning in those stores is so crazy that I could feel it almost 10 to 15 feet outside the store.
You almost wanted to walk by the store just for that sweet relief.
And then, thus, to walk inside the store. So Disney is not about the family experience on a budget. It wants you to spend money. That's how they make their money. So everything is designed to get you to reach into your wallet. So you're standing outside. It is the real field temperature was 104, 105, which is exorbitant.
Yes.
But inside the Disney store, it had to have been around the 68 degree mark.
It was insanely different from what the outside temperature was.
So they said, when you go into those stores, you see a lot of sweatshirts. Why would you be selling sweatshirts in 105 degree temperature? It's because the temperature is so cold in the stores that it gets you in the mindset that, hey, maybe I'll get this $85 sweatshirt.
The upcharge on a sweatshirt at Disney from what you could buy like at necessarily probably Walmart was insane.
It was insane. And I know that there's a type of customer that wants the $85 sweatshirt experience that they bought at Disney, and getting it online or getting a knockoff just isn't going to cut.
And if it was 105 degrees in the store, you would not even remotely be thinking about buying a sweatshirt. So what did Disney do? Turn down the temperatures in the store, specifically Emporium,
which we were in for a while, but to really entice you to get off that hot pavement. Or the hot pavement drives you, keep walking. So the thing about the park, and if you watch that Imagineer documentary, it's people movement. That's the goal of every Disney park. So what they did in every park, they put something very large deep within the park. So when you go to Magic Kingdom, it's a castle.
When you have the Animal Kingdom, it was
the Tree of Life.
Hollywood Studios was Tower of Terror.
And what's the...
Epcot was the ball.
The ball. So they said when a human being looks up and sees a giant object, we head naturally towards it. So if you see all the giant objects are within the park.
I feel like we're little flies going to the blue light.
Absolutely. That's exactly what they said. So every time Disney creates a new park, they'll put a big object to draw you into it, to keep you moving from that clogged front entrance.
Well, I say as far as customer experience goes, to walk into the park and to have nobody on that black pavement, it made me feel like this experience was made for me.
Right. And great for photos.
Absolutely great for photos. And then to have people constantly moving, I didn't feel like, oh, wow, this is too many bodies. We're never going to get anything that we wanted to do here. It made me almost feel excited to enter the park.
So when you go to the park, look and see where the pavement changes color from the black pavement to the lighter concrete. And that's where Disney is okay with you standing.
Yeah.
But
which is always away from the entrance.
It's always away from the main arteries.
Yeah.
Kind of like, hey, off to the right. If you see the place where the picnic tables are, it's always light pavement.
It is.
So, hey, sit here. Yes. We've driven you to this place.
Right.
Thought that was very interesting in people management. And, the experience overall?
Yes.
Okay, that was my first one. The blasting AC. Okay, keeping the park clean. Okay, did you notice there's a lot of people with those little grabby trash cleaners?
Oh, but they were so like almost non-invasive that when I did see them, I'm like, oh, no wonder there is no trash at Disney.
There is no trash at Disney. So they said, and I guess rumor has proven it true, that Disney would walk through the park and realize about every 30 feet he'd need to throw something away. So if you look, there's a lot of trash cans.
There was.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is, did you notice none of them smelled?
There was not one bad odor at Disney.
There's not one bad odor, and that's by design. So with the trash cans...
And can I just say there was never overflow? I never saw someone's trash.
It's exactly, because there is no overflow. All the trash cans in Disney World, again, this is the Florida one, was over-designed because of the mistakes of Disneyland, the original in California. So in Disney World, when you throw something away, it actually channels through a pneumatic suction off the site of the park. So there's no bottom to any trash can.
Oh, you're right. There is not one person taking out a trash bag.
They never want you to see a trash man.
I never saw one.
Right. No trash truck, no trash man. So it actually sucks in a pneumatic air tunnel to off-site. So you never smell it and you never see it.
Insane.
Right. And no trash cans overflowing. You're not pushing open a trash can and having stuff pushing back.
It's like when I walk, like Target yesterday when I went in there to get cleaning supplies, obviously, because I was cleaning all weekend, it was overflowing. I'm like, oh, what a bad luck. That's right by the door.
Right. So what are you going to do? You're going to throw it away there? You're going to leave it on the side? It's like a weird vibe to leave trash.
I'm like, someone forgot about this trash can.
Right. So there's actually the trash cans are all, I'm not saying 100% of them, but on Main Street, they all suck out to this thing. But there's a lot of trash cans and all the trash cans are clean.
Absolutely.
Right. So I thought that was very interesting. And on that point, Disney realizes that smell is a very important thing. So whenever we walked past an ice cream parlor, you'd smell so much vanilla.
Amazing.
Right. So that's actually a machine that they've created.
That kind of, I'm sure, lures you in.
Right. It's called the Smellitzer, and it's used to pipe smells into the mainstream.
You could really use a Smellitzer for yourself.
Where I smelled you after a week of sweating. So I thought that was interesting. We talked about the focal point that pulls people through the park. Mm-hmm. So if you're conscious and self-aware, you can watch your kids saying, "I want ice cream, I want popcorn," when you pass those places.
Absolutely. I mean, Archer, that's my son, if you don't know, just constantly, can I have?
Yes. And what are you going to tell a kid no in his dream Disney trip?
No, this cost me $1 million, kid.
Something I thought was very interesting is line cues.
Oh, this one. Okay. We stood in some serious lines. Yeah. I want to say the ride for Pandora was a 2-hour and 15-minute wait. And we stood in it because my son said that was his favorite ride.
Right. I've never sweat so much in my life. But did you notice at no point could you see the beginning and end of a line?
Never. We would be approaching a turn and I would ask my son, "Hey, are we getting towards the front?" Because I had no idea where the front of the line was.
Because as long as you round a corner and you feel like the front is close, you will not complain.
And you almost have
round
the
next corner and there's a
spirit
about it. Like we're getting closer, closer. On that point, okay, so if you haven't been to Disney in a while, I hadn't been since I was in 6th grade.
Yeah,
everything's run by an app now that tells you park wait times.
This was actually fascinating, and Heather really used the app to kind of guide where we were. But when the app said 5-minute wait, of course we were like, let's go there and knock out that one park. But everyone, it seemed, was on the app at the same time and bombarded that 5-minute wait.
Yeah. But one thing I noticed is it didn't matter if there was no wait. It still said 15 minutes, and that's by design.
Because why?
They want you to say, when I get in line, and they call it the Machiavellian twist, is that when I'm thinking, okay, I'll have to wait 15 minutes and I only have to wait 10, I have a better experience.
There's always a versus buffer. Waiting in line and it says 5 minutes and it turns out to be an hour.
So, I know Disney was extremely crowded and the wait times only report from the sign. Not from the
extra line.
Yeah. But that whole hey, moving faster than you expect, the line in constant movement and rotation keeps people stuck in it. It's the same thing of sitting in traffic and truly having your foot on the brake versus crawling in traffic.
Crawling feels a lot better than sitting.
It feels so much so that, we live in populous Washington, D.C. area. I'll take a longer route as long as I'm moving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I thought that one was super neat. Okay, this is something I read about. So in park training, so they call everyone a cast member.
They do. There's not one worker, staff,
employee.
Server.
They do not call them that. They call them cast members. But when training cast members, this is the phrase they ask them.
Okay.
When does the 3:00 parade start? Now, the initial thing is you idiot, 3:00, you just said it. But what Disney's trained the staff members to realize is that wasn't the question. Even though it's the words that were uttered, the question is, will I be able to see it from where I'm standing? So that instead of saying it starts at 3:00, you idiot.
Poop.
Yeah. It's, hey, it should be passing us in 5 minutes. You want me to help you find a place to view it better?
That's what they would want.
Right. So kind of, and we'll pull it back into cookie marketing, but that customer experience, yes, people ask us dumb questions, but what are they truly asking us?
True.
Do you make cookies? They're asking if you're available.
Yeah, if you're available. Can I do the next one on this list? This is probably the coolest thing that you did not know about Disney. But every lamppost, every trash can, every wire, and every post in the parks is this greenish color. And what it's actually called is go away green. And the mindset behind it is that your brain does not process that color. So it's not bright orange, so you're walking towards it. It's this dull green, so your brain can almost erase it from its memory.
Right.
So you can look at that. What is that? Magic Kingdom?
The castle.
The castle, and you do not see one trash can.
All you see is the castle, which is these bright, eye-attracting colors. But when the trash cans, they said that go away green, the color itself is morphed. There's no true color, but it's something that detracts your attention.
Yeah.
So while you have the castle that's purple and pink and lights and shiny and, things to look at, the trash cans are all very muted, dark colors.
It is. And I remember walking through the park, and I'm like, where's the trash can? Knowing that Disney put it, but it would always be there. But my mind wasn't necessarily seeing the trash can until I'm like, where's the trash can? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right next to my right hand.
Oh, here it is. Let me throw away this $5 Coke I just bought. Have a moment of silence. Something I thought was interesting is Disney would take his own rides. He would dress up as a common person and ride the ride, and then he'd say, hey, listen, I noticed some issues here. And I think bringing it back to cookies, which is where we're going to pull this into, is going through your checkout experience with the eyes of a baby newborn deer.
Yeah.
To see what difficulties your clients. Corey, like when I make a website, it's made in my head. I know what I'm doing. Just do this. Okay, click this here. But what is my client experiencing? Are they confused? So we had a client, he runs a bee boutique, sells like beekeeping supplies and stuff like that. But on his website, people were very confused on how to buy certain things because he would group like candy and chapstick. And that's a very weird thing to group, and it's not intuitive.
Right.
So when we broke up candy and we broke up chapstick to different collections, this was on a Shopify site, it allowed people to better navigate what they wanted because it was more intuitive. And I know when we're ahead, well, he was like, they're small things.
Right.
But the customer, the consumer said, but they're different things.
And I will say, to a baking standpoint, before I made cookies, did not know it takes 3 days for icing to dry. So my customer experience was, if I order today, I should be able to get them tomorrow. It's 24 hours, not enough time for you to make my dreams come true. But it's not. But it's that, creating a atmosphere that you can actually explain it and educate it.
And navigate it. So, I'd say if you could almost get your mom, your grandmother to go to your website.
Or have your bestie who's never actually ordered from you on your forms.
To just kind of like say, and tell him, be very nitpicky here. Like, give me your honest opinion. And also, one thing I love to do is just go through very popular websites and see what they're doing. Yeah. So you go to Edible Arrangement, they could care less. I don't know the history of Edible.
Can I just say, you are so... people are going to be like, is Heather
because
working for Edible Arrangement?
If you use my code, HeatherMiracle20, I get 20%. No, there's no code. Do not use that. But you can send us an Edible Arrangement if you'd like, at all times. But the thing is, when I click to Edible Arrangement's website, I'm immediately falling in love with the product I'm about to buy. I do not know anything about the history of Edible Arrangements. That's secondary to the sale.
Yeah, because what is your goal? To make the sale. What's the secondary? To explain why your brother inspired you to create a recipe.
Right. So when we talk about, one, common offender I see on websites of cookie people is their banner image. The first thing I lay my eyes on is about them.
Yes.
But I want it to be about me. I want to feel, what can I get out of this?
Yes.
Show me the best product you're selling right now. Tell me the Father's Day special.
Because a lot of people are like, people are buying from me because they want me. But no, I'm not taking you home and you're not coming in my bag.
Right. They are buying from you. And it's great to have that personal story. And it's great post on social media. But when I click to your website, you've already funneled me to the buying process. At the point I'm on your website, I'm probably ready to pull out my money. So make me spend the most.
Amen.
And Disney does that.
Amen. So Heather has 3 things she would like to tie our Disney experience back to when it comes to baking. And she has storytelling, theming, customer service / experience.
Right. I think you changed some of these on me, which I like.
No, I just added the little, with your coffee, with your photography.
So they said with Disney, storytelling's a big thing, right? So when you walk through there, you're immediately brought into these different worlds where it kind of walks you through a story. And at the end, you're like, yeah, of course I want a Peter Pan doll. Why wouldn't I? I want to be a part of this story.
Right.
So kind of with your shop, kind of tell people the story of like, not necessarily, again, not about me and everything about me. We're still selling a product, but walk me through what this product is. What will this product create the experience of? Will people like me more? Will this be a great gift for my dad? Will it be a great teacher's gift because it won't take up space on their counter forever, but they could eat it and enjoy it?
And I think it comes a lot too with storytelling with your copy. You sell baked goods. We all know that. Probably everyone that's following you knows that you sell baked goods. That's why they're following you. So use your copy to create a story. Like imagine Dad walking down on Father's Day next weekend and seeing this golf-themed sugar cookie set. And you can create that kind of storytelling where you're putting them in this aspect of the story where they're getting all this glory, lot, and honor. Their dad said, oh, you're my favorite child. I'm redoing the will, and you get all the money. So create the storytelling, whether it be on your website, whether it be in your captions and your copy, to really put them in that experience because it does, I want to be a princess.
So with theming, kind of same vibe, right? Like, what's my current theme? And I think we should be willing to change this often. When Father's Day is coming up, then we're looking at 4th of July, then we're looking at whatever comes after the 4th of July. Just theme it out. So I know that on the crumbed cookies, you changed the banner image to the upcoming month, which just shows like freshness. Okay, what's this month? It's very happy vibes.
I hate that I started doing that because I am
can't wait till November comes.
No, it's too long. It's just gonna be
Nove. And the last one again, and we can't drive it home enough, is the customer experience. And I think Disney kind of has that on lock.
They honestly do.
So when the customer experience breaks down, which happened, we had one lady kind of bite our head off because we didn't understand how ticketing worked.
Did not know
we
that.
did not buy magic bands. Big mistake.
It's almost like the customer experience there is so great that even when it falls short just a tinge,
it really sucks you out of the narrative.
It does. The magic stopped. Right. At that lady's ticket.
And it almost derailed your whole mood for the rest of the day because you're like, whoa, because it was so polarizing to what we were conditioned to at that point. It was like, whoa, customer experience truly does matter.
For people who just want to know it wasn't even a big deal, but I haven't gone to Disney in 20 years, and back then I didn't even have a ticket to even know what to do with it.
I don't even think you had a job. I think you were in 6th grade.
But when we went to Disney this year, you had to swipe your card, your ticket pass on this little thing, but the lady literally 2 seconds before this other lady gave us one ticket and it said my name on it. So we went to swipe it for 4 people and the lady's like, you need one for each person.
And when we said, oh, hey, no, you need one for each person. And it was like, oh, man, because we had this amazing customer experience and this one cast member kind of pulled us out of it. So it comes down, and I know that people get mad when somebody writes them at 2 a.m. Listen, 2 a.m. people are still people. You still have to keep that customer experience going. And like we say, tell people no by telling them yes. Mm-hmm. Don't let them have that negative experience. Don't make them feel embarrassed for asking, what time does 3 o'clock parade start? Find out what they're truly asking. And yes, I know that customers aren't always right. But they are, because if they're wrong, they're not buying from you. And our goal here is truly to make money, not to have an ego trip.
Right.
The ego trip will be the vacation trip you just funded with their money.
Yeah. When someone messages me and messages my page, The Crumbed Cookies, and says, do you sell cookies? I can do one of two things. Like, duh, it's in the name. Right. Or I can say, absolutely, what are you looking for?
And that's what they were truly asking for is, what can you make cookies for me?
Yes.
And when we kind of look at the bigger picture, we have a client, we had a phone call with him, scheduled everything. He was down, sent me the invoice, and he has absolutely never replied to another email. I send him once a month saying, hey, just, following up. But what I could do and what I feel like doing is being like, why are you wasting my time? Right. Why even the phone call? Why how great you are? But that's not the point.
And he will be a pipeline customer to you. He might not buy this month or next month, but one month you will buy.
Right. So I could burn that bridge to prove my point.
Right.
But my point is to take his money.
Absolutely. So do everything in your power to support the goal of making the sale.
Right. And I got to say, in business, you got to set the ego aside.
And it's hard.
It is hard.
I wanted to tell that cast member, ma'am, I just
Walt would be turning in his grave.
But it wasn't. I said, oh, okay, well, just let us know where we have to go. And she's like, back to where you came from.
Right. Okay. So I went, and it's just, and you'll have people that are extremely rude, and we had, somebody in the group say, hey, this is my friend said, you're overpriced for your talent. And she replied, thank you so much for the feedback. I'll work on it.
Yeah.
And instead of like, who do you think you are?
Yeah. Another person said, hey, to their customer. And the customer said, I'm your customer, don't hey me. That would probably get most of us riled up and offended, but our goal is to make the sale. Hey, I apologize. Oops, not hey, I apologize.
What? I am not a horse.
I apologize.
But the thing is, and like a great thing to do is walk away from the situation, albeit 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 24 hours, cool off. Realize the true goal of your business is to make money, and then come back and write that message. The amount of times I write an email and then I say, Corrie, and then Corrie says no, and then we go back to the drawing board and then send something that's much better is great. And it helps when I let a little bit of
typing steam out, delete.
Right. So that is our Disney recap, our takeaways. So I would say, Corrie, do not roll that.
They cannot
can hear it. I can see it being heard here.
They can't.
Corrie makes a lot of noises. I'm very sorry. So that was our Disney recap.
Yes.
All in all, an interesting experience. It's amazing how much money this truly did cost when all is said and done.
But I will say, Disney is a luxury experience. No time in my mind did I not think it was going to cost a bunch. I just want to bring up, this was my favorite meal. And I thought Belle was going to make an appearance. No, this was just the Beast's castle.
Right.
But when we were walking into there, the lady, even before we even entered the building, when you just were checking in, said, "Do you understand this is a fixed course meal? It is $62 a person." I said, "Oh, for sure, people are turning away." When we entered the building, there was not one spot that did not have a bun and a seed.
You should have seen these parents. So the Disney child cutoff age is 9.
It's
the
only
parents with 10-year-olds are like, please eat the salad and the filet mignon.
But it was an amazing. Our waiter had a fake accent, fake French accent, and I absolutely loved it. Of course, he came out of character when we asked him about his life. It's like, hey, I'm just from Florida.
Okay, so that was our Disney experience. But one experience I wanted to bring up was the JetBlue experience. So we had done this whole flight through JetBlue. It happened to be the cheapest when we made the reservations back in December. And when we got on the first plane, you know, they do that whole, please put the face mask of the person next to you. Yeah. But when we're about to land, they do this sales pitch that we have to listen to because we're held hostage on this tube in the sky of they're opening a JetBlue credit card and getting these reward points. So the first plane, what do you call them? The stewardess. She says, hey, listen, you get 60,000 points.
To me, and I said, I was even thinking, because I literally brought nothing to do on the plane. I said 60,000 points. What does that mean to me? I have no idea what 60,000 points would get me in this life.
Yeah, and then she comes through and says, do you want an application? Everyone's like, no.
Thank you.
So when we took the third JetBlue plane that we almost missed,
yes,
the stewardess gets over the loudspeaker and she says, hey, you get 60,000 points. Okay, third time I've heard this. And she's like, but I've done a little bit of research for you. What 60,000 points can get you? And she said, just to paint a picture, today's flight is 5,000 points. So when we're talking about 60,000 points, what you can do is you can go to Hawaii on this, and you could do a layover. And not to mention, we've partnered with Delta, so now you can go to these other places, and that's only 15,000 points. And with 20,000 points, you can go here. So what she did is she explained 60,000 points
and the value behind it. And even while she was talking, I said, well, you know what? This probably wouldn't be for me because I don't travel that much. Then it's almost like she read my mind. She said, don't travel a lot, but have 7 friends or family members that you love. You can disperse your points between them, and then they can travel to you for free.
Right. So she really, even when it got off the plane, Corey's like, and I said, yeah, I know exactly what you're about to say. That lady, that flight attendant really understood who she was selling to and how she was selling to it. And I can only assume if they opened up the credit card through her name that she got some benefit because she had such a better sales pitch than anybody else we'd heard to that point. Right. It really made me think like, no, I'm not going to open a credit card. But if I did, it would be right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I said, I don't need another one, but she has me thinking that I'm missing out on a JetBlue credit card.
Right. And then she even says, and don't think this flight can count. We can backdate your points for the flight you're on currently.
And then she said, there is an annual fee of $99, but we give you 5,000 points. 5,000 points will get you from here to Boston and back absolutely free. So it pays for itself.
Like, so any objection she already met ahead of time, but still turned our no, like there is an annual fee. However, yes, like it pays for itself and then some. It's the same thing when I went to REI to get snowboard gear. They were like, hey, do you want to open an REI? It's like a membership card. It's not a credit card, but it does cost $100.
Okay.
I said, absolutely not. They're like, listen, but it saves you 20% on every purchase. So they said, on this purchase, you save $160.
So you ended up saving $60 technically.
Right. So I absolutely opened it. So the way they took my objection and changed it into, hey, let me give you some more perspective here, definitely made the sale.
So I think you could actually use overcoming objections before they even happen.
I would come up with a list of objections.
And it's usually, if not 99% of the time, price is usually the objection. So adding value to your sales pitch right off the bat will overcome the objections before you even hit them.
Because in the honor of the flight attendant, she knew the objections before she even started sales pitching us. And she went through each objection in a way that I was like, oh.
Yeah, she almost like took a collective, every hurdle that she'd ever say, price, no, annual fee, no. And she says, you know what, I'm going to create a sales pitch that knocks each one of these out and turns people from absolutely not, which was us the first one, to I think I might be missing out on this.
Right? Like, I don't fly a lot. It just was really fascinating how she went through each objection, explained it well, and didn't make anyone feel dumb. She made you feel like, well, I mean, maybe I would be dumb if I didn't sign up for it.
Right. I thought she did a fantastic job.
I was pretty impressed by that one flight attendant compared to all the other flight attendants. And that's an interesting concept, too, is I'm constantly in a state of comparison.
Absolutely. You give me a bad experience and I'm going to go shopping around, and then that next person is going to be held to your bad experience, and I'm going to fall in love with them.
Right. It's when I was doing the Disney research, it's called the status quo bias, meaning your experience becomes the least you're willing to deal with the next time you come to that person. So if you're having a great day and I deal with you, the next time I deal with you, I want the same experience or better. Mm-hmm. So if I come to you, Corrie, and she's in a great mood, and then I come to you the next time and you're curt to me, well, that's unacceptable.
That's why that lady that said you need 3 tickets
because
took
we were
us out of there.
So used to everybody, everyone saying, "Oh, I hope you have a magical trip," and that lady was like, "Boo Bear, get your butt back to the ticket counter." We were like, "Excuse me,
the magic has stopped."
Yeah, of course we got our butt back to the ticket counter and all was well, but there's just things to be conscious and aware of in the buying cycle. Disney also had Diet Coke's price locked at $4.50.
Okay, but you can buy a Diet Coke at a gas station for $1 a piece.
Yeah, but at no point could you ever get a soda for less than $4.50. I did find a secret vending machine. It was
still $4.50.
I know. I don't know. It was
but
crazy.
At least you gotta do it in privacy. So waste your money.
You can cry by yourself in a closet. Okay, so that was our Disney recap, which will take over the business of baking this time because it's already been 35 blessed minutes.
Okay. Well, I absolutely loved it. I loved re-experiencing Disney. I wish I was back there, even though the lines were long.
It's also, so like I have a bad memory. This is Heather speaking. So I like to record things and make quick stinger videos so I can just look back and remember them. But in those videos, I edit out all the problem moments so that our highlight reel is just the best memories that we can have.
Absolutely. And we watch them. We do it every year we go to the beach. So there's probably like 20,000 little videos out there. And we just share them between ourselves and be like, oh, I wish I was at the beach again.
Right. So that's kind of creating that memorable experience. Okay. Moving on to text messages. If we had no phone calls.
Oh, my goodness. Guys, okay. I'm going to do it in my sultry voice because this is about all I can do to make you do it. Please leave us a voicemail. Our phone number is 571-556-5644. You can text in too, which most of y'all did this week, but we do love calls. The incentive is
you don't have to hear us if you call in.
And you can hear your own voice when we play it back.
Right. But the text messages were great regardless. So let me read this one from a 909 area code.
No idea where that is.
Hi, I requested to join the group over a month ago. How long does it usually take to get in, review the submissions? I'm dying to get in there based on what I hear from the podcast. Super cheesy smiley face, and I'm sure it was meant with malice because Corrie.
Okay, let me just go what goes into approving people for the group. We want quality members. Quality members answer all 3 questions. I will only let people in that have answered all the questions.
But there are people who have answered the question who've been pending for a while. So what's going on there?
I am reading each person's submission. I want to make sure that you are not looking for recipes when you come in here, that you are looking for some marketing know-how. And that's why if I let everyone in at one time, we are going to have a lot of which airbrush should I buy? Which a good recipe?
Which I think, again, with the customer experience, if you're added to a group and you immediately get all your posts deleted by Big Bad Heather,
yes,
you're not going to have a good time. So we do try to curtail it. However, there's sometimes you can see the algorithm favors recommending the group, and there'll be an influx of a lot of people that we have to kind of sift through.
So what I can do is go in order. And when we did shut down the membership to get everyone caught up, there are people pending from 3 and 2 months ago.
That's insane.
So I'm really trying to push them by also keeping the group on target and focus. So bear with me. Also, 909 area code number that you did not include your name.
I texted her back. Okay, him back. I don't know. I texted them back and said, if you give me your name, I'll let you know.
Okay, good. But if you want to, if you're like, hey, I would like to skip in front of the line, I'm going to say this and I know I'm going to regret it. Just message the page and I can get to you a little bit faster.
Or can't they put it in their question answering? Like goes from the podcast?
No, because I'm going in order. So if you didn't put it back when you did it 3 months ago.
If there's a group right, please take out Corrie. Do not take out Heather.
I'm doing it the best I can.
Here's an interesting thing. And I'm sorry, a little bit derailment. So in the group, we've kind of throttled comment sections that kind of deal with kind of client bashing things, you know, because everyone's had the negative experience with the client. But when somebody's asking for help in navigating client communication,
looking for actual
recommendations on how they can handle, like, you know, I dropped this cake, somebody's coming to my door in 2 minutes, what should I do? But oftentimes those comment sections get plagued with, well, this one time And, well, I can't believe they said that. Okay, great. Love your opinion. It doesn't add value. But here's the problem with the algorithm. Because everyone has had a bad client experience.
And has an opinion about it.
And has an opinion about it. And has an opinion about OP. And has an opinion about the person OP is talking to. Those threads trend. And when they trend,
that's
Sugar Cookie Marketing Group gets a bad rap of being a very negative place.
2 things we can do. We are going to do our part. If you would like to, you can turn on the notifications to be all versus top. And if you do that, then you get to see all the knowledge posts just versus the ones that trend.
So, unfortunately, the more complex marketing questions, because of the nature of the complexity of them, don't get a lot of engagement. But they're very valuable. They don't reach a ton of people either because it's maybe, somebody was strategizing why they got 4 or 5-star reviews for a storefront they didn't own.
Right.
And I think there's a lot more complex marketing involved there.
Yeah. So go to the top of the group, click the little buttons, turn on the notifications for all, and then you'll start seeing all, not just trending posts.
Right. And then Corey and I are going through the comment section and cleaning up and kind of opinions.
Yeah. So instead of just a GIF or a meme, which are funny and I love them, they don't necessarily always add value. GIF.
Anyways, and so we're just cleaning up those kind of trending posts in the comment section so that we can leave, hey, I don't care whatever your opinion is, but help OP with your opinion.
Amen.
Great. Okay, text 2. This is Jamie Cherry from Tart Bakery.
Or was it Jamie from Cherry Tart Bakery?
I do not know now that you wrote that.
Okay, Jamie Cherry or Cherry Tart Bakery.
Jamie Cherry Tart Bakery, Longview, Texas. She says, hello. First, I love your podcast and wouldn't mind if it was hours and hours long.
Whoa, Jerry. Jamie Cherry.
I have learned so much from you too and from the group. Thank you so much. I have a few questions. I appreciated your perspective on refunds a few podcasts ago. I'm curious if you would take another order from someone you've had to refund that was difficult to deal with. Along the same line, how do you determine when to fire a customer because dealing with them is frustrating? Changes over and over, micromanages the order, messages multiple times, and wants to see sketches and tweaks and changes the design over and over, and etc. At what point do you say that an order isn't worth the time you've invested, and how do you let the customer know? Should you be vague? Should you be clear? Be busy, quote unquote? Maybe upcharge their quote to either scare them away or make them the order worth double. Again, you guys are the best. I had my biggest cookie month in years of decorating cookies in May, thanks to this advice.
I love you, Jamie Tart Cherry Bakery lady from Longview, Texas.
She brings up a great perspective.
Fantastic question. Here's my one problem with the I'm busy excuse. How long are you going to be busy?
Right.
I don't know if that's necessarily the best course of action. If we're a business owner and time is money and you're constantly having to tell them they're busy every time, you could create potential bad review, maybe sort of somewhere there. Someone spreading that she's always busy. She can't take your order.
Right. However, having all these tools in your tool chest is a great approach for different, varied types of difficult clients.
Right.
There are people that Corey and I just at no money in the world would want to work with again.
And we have told them it does not look like we are a good fit.
Right. That's a true breakup. That's not a message me later that says like, hey, you're kind of, we go with more of an ego trip. Your company's bigger than what we can handle right now.
Right.
Because we don't want to say you're difficult. We never want to tell a crazy person they're crazy. That's like adding gasoline to a fire. Right. So with clients that are truly, hey, Corey and I have a long conversation about it in a very cool, calm, collected way. Do we want to work with this person again? It's just not worth the cost versus benefit. Then we'll do more of a direct, positive, less vague thing, but still coming in at their ego, right? Because we don't want to tell a business owner, we don't want to tell a client, I don't want to work with you because I don't like you.
Right. And a lot of times when you do the I'm busy thing, it's beating around the bush. If they are not a good fit for your company, it's okay to say, hey, it looks like the things that you're looking for, I'm just not able to provide you at this time in my life at my skill level for my bakery. Here's a few names of other people.
Right.
You send them to the people you hate the most.
You've severed that relationship in a positive way.
Right.
But you've said, hey, please don't come back to me. Now, let's say somebody is just micromanaging, but they're not necessarily a bad person and their money spends the same way.
Okay, that means I would say you need to take charge and you need to put on your big boy business pants.
I would say charge them more.
You can charge them more, but say if you're already in the sale, you've locked and loaded, you have to take control of the sale. This is your sale. It is your bakery. They are not baking for you.
So something I love to do, kind of when I don't realize that a client is going to be overbearing and they become a little bit overbearing, what I implement is my 2 rounds of changes.
Absolutely. You give them, hey, we can actually talk 2 more times before we need to have this locked and loaded. After the second change, this will be our final. And
Right, because when we leave the door open, people think it's free to walk through, and we can't blame them for that perception, right?
they don't know any different.
So when I'm creating a flyer, and I'm not even a graphic designer, so understand the complexity here.
Just I'm going to say that she's a fantastic designer. She looks like she went to school for it.
But so I'll say, like, here's your flyer. And they'll be like, I want to change this word. And I call them show me what I don't want clients, because they just want to see what it looks like, and then they'll make their next change. So I say, oh, great. So we have one more round of changes after this one. So when I send you this, send me as many changes as you'd like, and then we'll implement them and go to production.
Yes. So you are creating an expectation for them that it is fine if they have changes, but they need to wrap those changes up. Otherwise, you will always be dealing with changes.
Right. And not all of our clients are like that. So I only implement that when I find that truly difficult, micromanaging, constant changing client. And I do in a positive way. Like, okay, great. I'll implement these changes. That brings us to our next round, which will be our final round. Let's go.
And if you, and I am 100% for this, want to charge them more because of their level of difficulty and how much time you know that you're going to spend with them, but you do appreciate their sales, their money, referrals, anything like that, absolutely up the price for them. And if they pay it, that is what you need to be happy with this sale with this person.
Right. And that has a double-edged benefit, is raising the price. And I know that some people feel like it's unethical. I think not making money is unethical.
I actually don't post a price list, and I price per the order.
Right, because you don't do pre-sales. You do customs only.
Sometimes I do pre-sales, like the Father's Day, the dad I got to do this week.
But with raising the price, so, I kind of encourage the having a price list and custom starting at. That gives you a little bit, you set the expectation, but, price is starting out. Now you have somebody and they're asking for the world and then some. So you can say, hey, I'm going to raise my price high enough that it would be take a crazy person to pay it. And if they pay it, I can wipe my tears with money.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So that's one way. That's what, it's recommended of firing a client. And if they do pay, could you get some help in dealing with them? It would just make it a little bit more worth your time. So, and if they don't pay, then nobody lost. They walked away from you. You didn't tell them to walk away.
Right. So I'm going to break it down. What Heather just said, clients that you do not want to work with, you need to have the positive yet hard breakup with them. They are not a fit for you. The clients who maybe you're already in the sale with them, you can't raise the price now. You need to put your big boy pants on, and you need to be a business owner, and you need to take charge of the sale. That means set expectations, 2 more changes. And if they are a difficult client but not the worst, you charge them more. And if they're willing to pay it, then you're willing to take the order. So that is how that breaks. And I'm going to go to voicemail number 3.
Okay.
It is Heather from Macarons and More. You've been baking on the side?
No.
Okay. Hi, Corrie and Heather. This is Heather from Macarons and More in Texas. I don't have any hard-hitting questions, but I'd love to know what's on your favorite playlist right now. Have a great Wednesday.
What's on your playlist?
Murder podcast, true crime all the time. Okay. I really do love them. Unfortunately, I've almost run out of their podcast show, but they have unsolved true crime all the time.
Okay.
Unsolved. Yeah, sorry. It's at the end.
Is that all you listen to?
A lot of crime ones.
Okay. Do not get Corrie angry. She can kill you and they'll never find your body.
What's on yours?
I really like to listen to audiobooks.
Heather does.
So right now I'm listening to a book called Essentialism.
Okay. What's
the concept being that 20% of your actions result in most of your profit. So you can cut out the remaining 80%. So a lot of times we try to do everything, and by doing everything, we truly accomplish nothing. Yeah. So in application of cookies, it would be like, which of my products do I actually enjoy doing that make me happy, that bring me money?
Yeah.
And eliminate everything else. So you see some people that, like, I'm not saying this is wrong. I do think it is against psychology, but they'll offer 20 different flavors. Okay, 20 different flavors is 20 different extra product that you had to purchase. And then you create a thing called choice paralysis, which if you've ever been to the Cheesecake Factory.
Analysis paralysis.
Because the Cheesecake Factory has such a large menu, you probably will end up ordering something you've already eaten there before.
100% of me all the time.
But when I go to a restaurant with a very, petite menu, I'll kind of skim to see something I could try.
Absolutely.
So when we offer somebody too many choices, we give them more time to make the decision to not buy it all.
I agree.
Right. So, I say like, hey, I offer vanilla. If you'd like to add chocolate, that'll be an additional fee. And then somebody had a great recommendation. I do flavors seasonally as a special to get people hyped.
That's what I do.
Right.
I made an apple spice one time for Heather and she hated it.
Okay, you should tell somebody that's expecting a vanilla bite that it's going to be tart.
My son loved it.
Right.
Totally random. I actually wrote a song.
What?
I did. What Disney should have sang at the Beast thing.
Okay.
Be. Oh, wait. It's the Be Our Guest song.
Okay.
Here's your check. Here's your check. We take Visa and debit.
Oh, that could be the Disney anthem.
Okay, guys, that's our what wraps us up for voicemails. If you would like to call, which we would love, a call, text, or email. Phone number is 571-556-5644, and the email is hello@sugarcookiemarketing.com.
Great. So that brings us to group stuff. We're doing something very interesting. A group member tried to do a cookie collab.
Yes.
Because Facebook groups is so hard to disseminate information, it was kind of a little bit of a cluster, and then her teen ate her meme cookie. So Corrie said I had to set up something. So what we did is create a quick event. So on June 30th, go to the events tab. You can click to sign up. And what it's going to ask you for is your name, your Instagram profile, and your Facebook page. And then you create a cookie version of your logo.
And for people who are just learning what collabs are when a bunch of people get together and they create a same themed baked item. So whether you do cakes, whether you do cookies, anything like that, macaroons. I don't think you can do it with macaroons. You create something, whatever the theme is, and on the same day you post it, and then everyone who's a part of that collab, even if you know them, you don't know them, you go and interact with their post, so it gives you a boost in the algo. So I said, let's do 2 bangs for the buck, engagement, but also creating your logo in a baked form, whether that be cookies or cakes, so you can actually use it in your own marketing, because clients love to see things cookified, baked. They want to see it in an edible form. So I said, let's do 2 birds, 1 stone. Do this logo collab. Turn your logo into a baked good and post it.
Love it. To participate, go to the events tab in the group. Click on, I think it is called, I don't know, logo collab, sugar cookie marketing or something. And you'll see at the top in the event description of how you sign up. It is simple. There's no requirement. All you need is just your name, if you're going to post it to Facebook or Instagram or both, and then those 2 links. Mm-hmm. The requirement, though, is that you got to engage with everybody. And we created this really nice, clean list that you could just essentially go through and click. And you're going to use 2 hashtags on Instagram, which will make it very easy to participate.
Right. So I am excited about that. We will post updates because that's what makes a collab successful, is reminding you.
Mm-hmm. And if it is truly, I guess you should post, we're 15 days out, 16 days out. Say, hey, like, get the bacon.
Absolutely. Make me a little graphic for that, you graphic designer over there.
You get 2 changes less. So.
All right. The next is we do have a group hashtag on Instagram. It is hashtag Sugar Cookie Marketing. It has 24,000 plus mentions. If you use it, group members will come and engage with your content. But what I have noticed is that hashtag Sugar Cookie Marketing Group has also now 500 mentions, but no one goes over there because I don't direct anyone over there.
Right.
So if you are going to use it, use the hashtag Sugar Cookie Marketing, not the group. I know we couldn't be any more confusing than we are now.
Right,
but if you look at it, one has a lot of mentions, one doesn't. So
and if you're a good marketer, find where the people engage and get on there.
Get on in there.
Okay, so we have some upcoming lives. Frescia.
I think.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful name. She is the packaging extraordinaire. Truly, I think she's so popular. You may have seen her bow videos on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she's offered to do packing a punch and how to package your cookies to get the most bang for the buck.
So if you have followed along on these podcasts, you know that the customer experience continues on to the packaging once you have removed yourself from the sale. So how can you create that excitement before they even open whatever your baked good is? And that is what she is going to share with us.
I know some people are like, but packaging is so expensive. Boo Bear, all your costs should be passed on to the consumer.
You're a luxury item. You should be expensive.
Right. So you should be so expensive that packaging is just a part of the product offering. If you're too low in pricing, investing in packaging is only robbing money from your pocket. Mm-hmm. So this is really investing in creating that buffer bottom line.
Absolutely.
And after that, we have Natalie Hest. She reached out to us while we're at Disney. I have to create the event.
Okay.
But she lives in a town of 350 people. That was not a
Could not
typo.
even imagine.
And she does farmers markets, and they're her number one place of selling. So in each farmers market, she averages about $500 in sales for a town of 350 people.
Insane.
The last farmers market, she did $800 in sales. That's
Great
as if
job.
everyone in the whole town gave her $2.20.
That's amazing.
Right. So she's going to tell us some of her secrets. She's been doing it for a couple years now. She's wildly successful at it. And I think it'd be super interesting to get her perspective of a small town farmer's market.
Yeah. I will say I went to the farmer's market this week and I was prepared to spend money because I went there not trying to make friends. I wanted vegetables that I felt were fresh from a garden.
Yeah, I never went to a farmer's market and considered myself getting a deal. I'm there for fresh produce. I'm not
Almost
there
where
for
I
cheap
feel
produce.
like if I pay a little bit more, I'm getting something better than I would at the grocery store.
So if I went to a farmer's market and the prices are cheaper than Safeway, I'd be like, where's the quality here?
Leftovers?
If it truly costs you more to create a better product, I expect to pay more for that better product.
Preach, girl, preach.
Right. So, we
Upcoming
have
events.
2 upcoming events. Our first ever in-person meetup.
I'm going to create a song for this too. I don't have it today, but I will have it.
Yeah, so on August 26th, we'll be meeting at Seasons 52 in Tysons Corner, Virginia. It's about 20 minutes south or ish of Washington, D.C., and we'll be renting out the back room for 20 people to take a quick think tank course on casual talking about marketing.
Mm-hmm. And it's at Seasons 52 at the mall, which is Heather and I's favorite restaurant on the planet.
Right, love it. So they've given us the back room. So we're going to do that for 2 hours, and that's the paid part. So because it's Seasons 52, we did $52, which covers an amazing preset menu you can choose from, and covers the room rental.
Yes.
So all you do is sit your butt down, take it. We only actually have 4 tickets left. So, but the happy hour portion is towards the front of the restaurant. They've reserved us the front bar area, and everyone can just come in and drop in. There's no cost. You just pay your own tab.
Yeah. So if you can't make that, make the last part. We'd love to have you. We only have 4 more tickets. So if you live in the Northern Virginia area, Southern Maryland, we would love to meet you in person.
Yeah, y'all that are driving 4 hours, I just don't think we're worth it for you, buddy.
Someone's flying up from Georgia.
I know. And then Carissa, whose idea was taking the train down from New York City with her daughter.
Oh my goodness, we really need to start planning to make this worth it.
Right. But this will be our first ever sugar cookie marketing meetup, which is actually great because it's the week before CookieCon Orlando.
I know, so we're going to show you our cool pins.
Yeah. So Corey and I have been designing some pins because this is our first CookieCon, but apparently the trading is really neat. So stickers and pins. I seen somebody making. Christy is making beautiful scribes.
Yeah, and then you could do cookies if you wanted to.
Yeah.
How well they travel, I don't know.
It seems fun. And if you are on the Orlando CookieCon, they added the ability to take 3 electives rather than just the typical 2 because they have more space at this event.
Heather acts like she knows what an elective is, but even
Not
I
a
don't.
clue.
But you can do 3 of them.
The emails. So either way, it sounds a lot of fun. Didn't you sign up for a class?
I did with actually a group member, and we're gonna cookify. She had cookified Mike and Karen and herself.
That's
together.
so
It was so
funny.
cute.
So how long are the elective classes?
It depends. It can be 4 hours to 8 hours.
Good
I don't know
night.
if that's elective classes or the main core class. I'm not quite sure about what the little
Corey
name
and
and
I,
is.
hopefully somebody
I'm gonna show up at one.
If somebody has done a CookieCon and wants to do a Facebook Live Q&A,
That would be
we have some questions.
fantastic. we do. You'd be doing it for us.
Right, that would be great. Okay, so that wraps us up for our upcoming events. There is 2 events that we've added to the group: CookieCon Dallas, CookieCon
So if you need
Orlando.
if you want to talk and find a roommate there, if you want to ask someone who's on your
If
track,
you want to pitch your class, by all means, just a free for all there.
Just do it in the discussion part of the events. Now we're at Twinterests, which actually is a great segue in from CookieCon because my twin sister Heather has been designing CookieCon shirts. We have Team Dallas and Team Orlando, but my favorite part is on the back. It says, "Yes, Greg, there's a podcast."
Right. So we thought it'd be a cool way for group members to order a shirt and kind of see each other. It's that bright pink that you see everywhere. So you're going to have to get in touch with your feminine side and just put that pink shirt on and wear it with pride so you can see each other from miles away. It's
So
that
I
bright.
ordered mine, and when it comes in, we will take a photo so you can actually see it in action. But if you wanted to be a SCM for the win at CookieCon, these shirts are for you.
Yeah, that'd be a fun thing. Anyway, I can't wait for my new shirt. Okay, and then me, I really like stickers. So Sticker Mule is actually where we'll be ordering our pins from for CookieCon.
Okay.
I do not think it's the cheapest place. However, their sales are the cheapest. So every 4 days they have a new offering on one of the products that they sell.
Nice.
At a discounted price. So I think like we got bubble mailers.
Oh, we did?
Obviously the stickers, they have different types of stickers. They have bumper stickers that can withstand UV, rays to kind of last on a car, and then packaging stickers and things like that. So we'll shop the sale. It's usually about $70 discounted, which I think their prices are slightly ungodly, but their sale prices are also ungodly in the right direction. So with the Sticker Mule, if you want to, they give you a link. So if you purchase through my link, I get $10 and you get $10.
And I will be purchasing through your link because I love me some $10.
Right. The $10 appears in your account after your first purchase. So you need to spend $30 to get the 10. They don't just want you to get $10 and only order $10 for the product.
I see what they did there.
Right. I was like, darn it.
But no, those are fun. We are going to have stickers and the funniest pins, but I'm not going to tell you until we actually get them made.
Interesting, Twin. Okay, I'll place the order.
Excited. Now we are on to sponsors, and we just got an Eddie order out the door right before we left for Disney, and the lady who ordered it actually sent her husband to pick it up, and Heather was able to hand it to him, and he said, wow, these are so cool.
He said, this looks exactly like the logo. And I said, good, because it came out of a printer. But they specifically ordered the Eddie printed cookies. And somebody in the group had referred us, which is funny because they didn't know who it was. They just said, someone told me that you have an Eddie.
And it was 2 days after we got it. So someone hustled for us. And whoever you are out there, thank you.
Right.
But that was super cool to actually see the customer's reaction for something that's so kind of newish.
I mean, how long did it take us? How many cookies did
they ended up 4 dozen, so it was 48 cookies.
And we printed them off how long?
That printing part was no less than probably 15 minutes from loading and printing.
Right. So what we've determined is that high humidity and Eddie aren't best friends. And very loose icing in Eddie. So we're going to tweak a recipe that Corrie has to make it just a little bit more of a harder everything.
Yeah.
And then we did the cornstarch.
We did.
And then we packaged them, and then they were fine. We kept them in a very air-conditioned room.
Yeah. What we don't know is they actually ate them. They actually took them right to the event and ate them as soon as they picked them up. So there was no downtime, so we couldn't really see anything there.
I think we should make some tests on... What I would like to do is just... If you baked a bunch of circle cookies, I'd like to print one the first day of baking. Then, let the cookie harden and then test it. Just kind of see how Eddie performs with the packaging. I know some people are worried about color bleed, but I think it just comes down to not having your recipe dialed in for your humid climate. Right?
I think so. So I was going to actually make some circles tonight, maybe a little bit smaller than the ones that we sold for them. So it didn't take me 5 million hours to ISO.
Right, because the Eddie sends you cookie blanks that they create. I got to say, it's like just above communion bread taste. It's not the best, but it doesn't bleed because they have not a lot of moisture in them.
Yeah, so like my recipe has a lot of butter in that. Butter is moisture. So when you think about the Eddie, he wants a dry atmosphere because he's a water-based ink.
Right, so maybe a drier icing with less water in it.
Yeah, so I think we are going to try dipping because that introduces a lot less water.
Oh, that's good.
And then we're going to do this other recipe I have that uses less butter and wet ingredients.
Right. So Eddie is roughly, they were back ordered a little bit, but they finally said we got all our parts in. We're pushing out production. But really cool. It's the edible printer, and that's not printing on a paper and putting on a cookie. It prints directly onto the cookie.
So people can do on macarons. People did on Tic Tacs, fishies. Are they called goldfish or fishies?
Not a clue. But someone did them on Doritos. And then they put them on tortilla chips and then kind of put it like if you had a Mexican restaurant,
that would be
you put
so
your logo
cute.
on a couple of chips. It's kind of cute.
I honestly would marry Eddie. He comes with a crumb catcher, unlike my husband, which I learned this weekend.
Eddie would take the leaf out.
He would take the leaf out. But that is all we have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed our Disney experience as much as we did.
And I hope that you can look around in your day-to-day life and see how pricing psychology and sales psychology is working on you.
And not for you. Just kidding. Bye, guys.